I don't know. I think I usually end up being around 4 unless it's a diarrhea type day.
Oh, there you go.
I just grab so many and fold it twice and go for it.
Yep. Keep it simple. Welcome back to Privy. Privy is a podcast about bathrooms. Recorded. This week we are off location in my recording studio, away from recording studio. I'm at the church bathroom. We're back. And I am joined this week by none other than Luke Powell. Luke, how are you?
Well, pretty good.
Good. Luke, tell us a little bit about who you are. I know a little bit, but I'll probably learn something here too. I'm
just a guy who farms and drives truck for a living and tries to enjoy doing it.
That's right. What when you say you drive truck, I know one day you pulled in with just the biggest blue rig I've seen in my parking lot here at the church. So what are you driving around usually?
Oh, it varies. The last couple of winters I've hauled rock, but in the fall during hazelnut harvest, I haul hazelnuts from the field back to a drying and cleaning plant.
Do you ever just lose some on the road?
Yeah, there's some loads you have to tarp because it will try to, and I do usually try to find a back road because there's always some husks that don't have nuts and are really light, and they will try and blow off, and no matter if you tarp it or not. And so I always try and find a good back road to go down with no cars, so I don't make a mess out of somebody's car even with the tarp on.
Somebody just gets Mario Karted with all of your hazelnuts. No.
Yeah, that'd be a good way to ruin a day.
Yeah. I mean, or I guess they could try to catch them. No. So you and you work. Is it like a family farm or is it just like a?
It's kind of a weird deal. So the drying plant is a shared deal. They're both kind of family farms, but one of them has gotten really big and is essentially an industrial thing now. But it is still family ran, and it's not. It doesn't have chairman or anything like that. It's still a family farm. It's just on a pretty big scale. Wow. Yeah, because they work with several other drying plants around the valley and even up by Portland.
Wow. And do you how many? Do you know how many pounds they deal with a year?
I don't know off the top of my head, but I think just the main plant I hauled to did somewhere around 5 million plus pounds last year. And that's just the one plant. There's 4 of them that I've hauled to, and I think they've got 1 or 2 others. So they move some hazelnuts.
That's crazy. Man, I can't even imagine 5 million pounds of hazelnuts. That's, wow. So have you always, how long have you been doing that?
The hazelnuts, this is going to be my 3rd year if I do it. The grass seed side of things I've been doing since I was, a kid, because I grew up on a farm and the uncles do it and my dad does it and my grandparents do it. And so I've been in that forever.
Wow. Yeah. Do you guys ever have competitions, with the family about who can do something the best or fastest or...
Not really. Some people brag a little bit when they get a nice clean crop or something with no weeds, but not too much.
No weeds.
Yeah, sometimes we used to a little bit when we were kids, when we were bucking hay at grandparents. We'd race around a little bit. When we first started, we couldn't buck them onto the trailer, so we'd just roll them to the side so the tractor could drive down the center, and there'd just be a bunch of little kids running as fast as they could between the rows. And
dude. That's such a cool childhood, though.
Oh, yeah.
Working at the high school, I see some of these kids, and I'm like, you're just a tablet kid.
Yeah.
You never been outside to do anything. It's just, so. It's hard. I imagine that's hard work, but that's a good childhood.
Oh, it definitely has its moments, that's for sure.
Yeah.
My favorite from back then was when every time we'd buck hay, Grandpa had a little mini fridge out in the shed that he always had stocked with soda.
Yes.
Particularly grape soda, and that was our favorite as a kid. For quite a few of us, we'd just go out there and rob his fridge every time. And
it's like Grape Crush? Or
Grape Crush. And the aunt would sometimes bring down tea or something like that in jugs and pass it out to all of us.
That's the life. People don't appreciate that.
It's a nice way to grow up, that's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, and you have, I know just from like when we've chatted a little bit, you have an interest in cars. That's probably not the right way to put it.
Just about anything with a motor.
Yeah. It's got a motor, you're into it.
Tear it apart, make sure it never runs again, and then just spend way too much money on it.
Oh my god.
American dream, I tell you what.
That's right. I know you're currently working on a truck or a car? Truck.
Yeah, kind of both. I've got an old Plymouth that I work on a little bit, but the one I've really been focusing on and putting most of my time into is a 77 Chev that was my dad bought new back in 78, I think it was, off the floor.
Oh, he bought it?
Yeah, he bought it himself. It was his first, I think it was his first actual vehicle, because before that he was borrowing his dad's, and then him and his brothers all did that kind of thing where, for the most part, they went and bought a pickup that was new or only a couple years old off of the lot.
Wow.
And yeah, so when he was, I don't remember if he was 17 or 18, but he went and bought it new off the lot.
I know you've talked about this car, but I didn't realize that he had bought it new.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
That's why I bought that one instead of spending a bunch of money and getting something that was nice and wasn't all rusted out. Yeah, because I could know every part that's been put on it, when it was done, why it was done, how it was done, and
that's crazy.
Knowing the history is nice.
Yeah. And are you just kind of learning it or as you go, or
I liked it quite a bit as a kid, so I studied a lot of the books I could find on it and everything, and just tried to get some of the book smarts. And it becomes a bit of a challenge because trying to put it into practice yourself without someone who's really good at it there with you is a learning curve that gets real expensive, but it's a fun way to learn.
It's really expensive.
Oh yeah, when you do the same thing 2-3 times to get it to where you want it can get pretty expensive in materials and stuff. But you built it and you know how to do it in the future, and that's nice knowledge to have. It even helps me out with that hazelnut plant and stuff. When stuff breaks there, I end up having to help fix it or figure out what they need to fix it, sort of a thing, quite often.
Wow. Huh.
Yeah, helpful knowledge.
Cool. Yeah, that's cool. So, and what often happens on the show is I say, hey, do you have any bathroom stories to share? And people are like, oh, I don't know. And then as we go, people go, actually, I know I have one. But so if you get to something later, just stop me, feel free. But do you have any bathroom stories that you are willing to share? Close calls?
Oh, yeah, most of mine are just where I was holding it and running for dear life at some point. Especially since when we're doing those hazelnuts, I work night shift quite a bit. And even if you aren't that tired, you're downing the coffee.
Yeah.
And that can get miserable sometimes.
The coffee gets stuff moving.
Oh, yeah. I usually get like those little cans of Starbucks coffee because they're real easy to deal with in the truck. Or the bottles so I can put the cap back on and not make a mess. And I was coming from Canby one time and got those things, bought some of those at the Brooks Lowe's truck stop. And before I got out of the parking lot, I was already drinking one. And
oh my goodness.
I hit North Salem and it was, you know how it hurts and then it goes away and then it starts hurting again, but worse.
It visits.
Oh yeah. And I dealt with that clear back, those that know Oregon. It was clear back to just about Albany there. Anyhow. Yeah. Now I'm glad I know that
20 minutes of that.
Yeah, it was more. And the truck's not very powerful, so those hills suck. It was 25-30 minutes, and it was midnight or 1, so nothing's open in Salem.
Oh my gosh!
Luckily now I know that there's an outhouse at the Pack Pride in Southern Salem, and I can bail in there if I need to. But I didn't know it at the time, so I went clear back to the hazelnut plant.
Secrets there.
Yeah.
Outhouse at Pack Pride.
Every time I drive the truck, I find at least one new outhouse or bathroom somewhere, just in case, you know.
Yeah. Do you have a stop that's like, this is the one I want to hit if I have to choose, or is it kind of like whenever nature calls?
It's kind of whenever nature calls.
Yeah.
When we're grass seed farming, it's a little simpler because we have 2 outhouses on either side of the farm. Yeah. One of those things is it's in the perfect spot. It's under a tree, but the
Oh.
breeze comes through it.
Yep.
It's shaded all day round, so it's never hotter than it is outside.
Yeah.
And like I say, it's just right in the breeze, so it's
Yeah,
no
perfect.
smell, and it's nice and cool in there. And it's one of the old ones with the metal latch and everything.
Oh,
so
yeah.
really nice outhouse. Just
Yeah.
got to plan what side of the field you're on so you can
Time
use
it.
it. Yeah. Aside from that, there's not really any special bathroom.
Yeah.
I know which ones tend to be cleaner and usually try to make it to them
Yeah.
at least, but yeah.
Yeah. Man. Good clean ones.
Yeah, that's real nice. You get one that's just a mess, and
Smart.
it's a bit miserable if you have a bad one.
Well, yeah. Especially like when you're just trying to be quick and you just come into a mess, it's like, can we not?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's the worst feeling when you come to like a new truck stop you've never been to and you go in the bathroom and it's the middle of the night, you're tired, just trying to go home, and there's crap on the walls.
Oh,
That's a miserable evening.
How did we get here?
Yeah, pretty
Like,
much.
What arrangement were you in that you got it here? Yeah. Well, and like I said, if you think of one as we go, shout it out. But when your cousin was on the show, Jason, he shared like, he's farming, he's doing the tractor thing, and he's got to poop. And sometimes you just hit the field with the blue shop towel, and that's is that ever been-
Oh yeah, I had one that was a little bit worse than that. It was a winter day, and so I had two shirts on instead of a sweatshirt because they just get so heavy and you start sweating when you're working. And that was when I had first started driving truck, so I was still working for a sheep farm.
Okay.
And when we weren't driving truck, I'd be out building fence.
Yeah.
I was building fence on a couple 100-acre field one day, and luckily it had a little forest on it because just all of a sudden, nature was a calling, and I didn't even have any blue shop towels. And needless to say, I only had one shirt after said encounter. But
no!
luckily, I was wearing two shirts that day, and kind of saved me.
Did you pack the shirt out, or did you bury it? Like, did you leave it, bury it?
I had a plastic bag.
There
I
you
just
go.
wrapped it up and burned it when I got
Burned
home.
it. Yep. There's no turning back.
Yeah.
Would you remember what the shirt was? Was it just plain shirt, or?
No, just a plain work shirt.
Oh, yeah.
There's times I usually wear too long of shirts, and that's not even with the bathroom. That's the only time I'd say it's really saved me with the bathroom, but they help me a lot. So when you cut your finger on a fence or something, you just cut the bottom of your shirt off because you don't have electrical tape or anything near it. They're handy sometimes.
Everybody else is going looking for Band-Aids, and like you're over here. Well, I mean,
We
your
tried
shirt and electrical
at the
tape.
sheep farm. We always tried to keep a roll of shop towels and a roll of electrical tape or two in the vehicle because we used it for other things with the fence. I mean, it's an electric fence. You got to use it sometimes.
Yeah.
And then if you cut your finger or something, if it was a deep cut, you'd put a shop towel on it and then wrap it. Otherwise, you'd just wrap it. And,
Yeah.
Better than a Band-Aid. They don't come off either.
Dude, electric tape, you can get it tight too.
Oh, yeah.
It's like-
You got to be kind of careful sometimes because it'll get a little too tight.
Yeah. Dang. Man, the shirt though. Woof. That's ingenuity.
I was glad it was a thick work shirt too. It didn't have to fold it as many times.
It's got a lot of padding.
Yeah, it was one of those double thick shirts.
Oh, yeah.
And you got to fold it so many times so you don't make a mess of your hand because it's a shirt. And luckily, double stuffed shirt helps a little bit with that.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Oh man. Well, I have a bunch of questions that I ask everybody. So we're just gonna hit these. And the first is in the topic of toilet paper. What type of toilet paper do you prefer? Do you guys use at home? What are y'all using?
Oh, shoot. I can't. Oh, we use Charmin some, and there's one other one. It comes in a...
Beautiful Bears.
Yeah, then we've got one other one that comes in a blue and clear bag. It's not
Is
Charmin.
it Quilted Northern, maybe?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, Quilted's
That's
another.
one Mom got for years, and we use that one quite a bit at home. That's a pretty nice one most of the time.
Yeah.
Haven't
That's
had,
good stuff.
Yeah, haven't had any complaints
That's
about
premium. Like both of those are premium.
Much better than 2-ply.
Yeah, we've got the like 1/4 ply like church paper here, and it's actually been upgraded in the last 2 years. So
At that moment, you realize it'd be better to go get the hand towels to wipe with than
Oh,
use the toilet paper.
I told Michael, I said, Michael, if we can't figure out how to get better toilet paper, I'm gonna start using the toilet seat covers because they're actually thicker and hold up better. Like I'm just gonna fold one of those up and flush it. It's fine. And then he got better, quote, better paper. It is better, but it's not really. And then randomly somebody will stick a roll of Charmin in here. And I'm like, where did...
Someone that works in the office and it's just their own private little bathroom all week.
And then they forgot to take it out and they're like, left it. And then
They probably just put one in there every week just for them. And then when it comes time for Sunday or the Friday night group, they just take it out and run with it.
Oh, dude, yeah. And then when you do toilet paper, few logistics here. So are you a crumpler or a folder?
Folder more so.
Yeah, it's organized.
Yeah, sometimes with the one-ply stuff, you kind of have to crumple it because there's not much else you can do. But yeah,
there's no hope otherwise.
Yeah,
fold it. Good. Yeah, that I believe that is the sign of an organized mind. Like there's two types of people, and and then when it hangs on the roll, do you believe that it must fold over or under? Or are you over? Really?
Yeah, especially in our house because we have those. You know how old houses had popcorn ceilings in them?
Yes.
Well, ours has some of those popcorn ceilings still because it's an old house, and so to match them in the bathroom, they added some sort of a grit to the paint. It's not the same as the popcorn ceiling. It's a newer paint, and it's not one of the asbestos deals. They just added it so it matched the ceiling.
Is it like glossy?
Not really. It's literally just chunks that mix into the paint.
In the house?
Yeah.
That's weird.
And they did it to match the the ceilings, but it catches the toilet paper sometimes, and it doesn't really tear it or anything, but you always scrape your knuckles trying to get it off. And
you are the first person I've talked to who has a legitimate knuckle scraping concern.
Yeah.
Because like if your paint's textured, like I mean
that's not bad, but like when you got legitimate chunks.
Really?
It scrapes. And
that's wild, dude.
Yeah, it's an annoyance.
Have you ever seen another house with that?
A couple, yeah. The older houses. It's always just one of those deals where they do it to match the ceiling.
I am fascinated by that.
Yeah, that's one of those where they want to repaint the house, but they don't want to deal with all the asbestos and tearing out the ceiling and everything and redoing all of it. And so they just do it to match on their new paint job. And there's actually companies that legitimately make grit to add into it. And I'm sure they've got other reasons as why they do it, but that's the reason I see a lot of the old houses do it.
Gritted walls.
Yeah.
That's wild. Yeah, that popcorn stuff drives me nuts.
Oh,
I had to remove a bunch with my dad when I was in high school, and it's just like you gotta get all the special gear because you'll get sick. And it's a process.
All the best was when you're jumping on your bed as a kid and you'd hit your head on the ceiling and just
it just rains down.
Yeah.
I remember like I can't remember what it was, but my buddy threw something in our front room and it like grazed the ceiling and it perfectly like shredded a big line. So we just had like this bald patch on our ceiling for like most of my childhood.
Look, Mom, Christmas came early. It snowed.
Like, every time you go in, it's like, yep, well, there it is. Here we are again.
Yeah, one of the places I used to work, I knew the family forever.
Yeah.
And I know one of the kids I think he broke his leg or something one time, so he had a deal that was hung from the ceiling to pull himself up off the couch while he was sitting there.
Yeah.
And he was bored. And they have a mark in the beam of their house because it's a full 2-story house that they built to look like a log cabin, and they used legitimate full circle logs and everything, then just did some fancy stuff on the inside so they didn't have to do any moss or anything to seal up the logs. So it's just a clean look on the outside. But because of that, they have some really massive beams in the house. And he'd just throw this chunk of metal and bounce it off the beam. And so there's just a mark on the one beam in their living room where it was...
Oh my goodness. Can't have nice things.
Well, they had quite a few kids, so I mean,
kids,
they pretty expected it.
Kids and pets are so hard on everything. It's like like our kids they're pretty chill, but even they, like, my son runs his trucks down the hall and just into the wall, and it's just like gashes.
That's why you need those big baseboards.
No, it's just like, I for a while I was like patching them, and then it happens like every week, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to let there be little gashes until you turn like 10 or 15, and then I'll patch it one day.
Our house has like, it's got to be close to a 20-foot long hallway at one point, and we used to run Hot Wheels up and down as kids. when we weren't farming the carpet with our die-cast tractors. Those the baseboards saved it by a long shot because they just bounce off of them. There's little chips in the wood baseboards all the way down still.
Yeah, but you're not like paint that in or repairing wall. It's like
and they were just dyed brown baseboards, so they're not. Don't notice it as much.
That's easy enough. So with the toilet paper. Do you have like a system? Are you a 3 sheet person? Do you count? Is it just like however much?
I don't know. I think I usually end up being around 4 unless it's a diarrhea type day.
Oh, there you go.
I just grab so many and fold it twice and go for it.
Yep. Keep it simple. When you're in the shower, taking it in the shower, are you a bar soap or a liquid soap lad?
It varies. I mean, obviously, a shampoo, liquid shampoo.
Yep.
But we do use bar soap quite a bit for everything else.
Really?
Yeah. Some people are kind of nervous about it, but then on the flip side, you got to remember it came from lye soap. And I mean, some of the new stuff, I don't know if I'd trust if it was a shared bar.
Yeah.
But when it's just you that's using the bar, why not?
Yeah.
It's a lot simpler. It doesn't make a mess. Easier on everything to use. And simpler to store.
That's right. Yeah.
And it doesn't set up as much. So that's kind of nice.
You don't share a bathroom with anyone?
Oh, I do. I share a bathroom. But years ago, we got these racks in the corner of it. And so we can keep our stuff somewhat separated.
You ever carve messages to people in the soap?
Not in the soap. I know one time I used to enjoy when I was a kid. I'd just squeeze it as hard as I can after it'd been in the hot shower and make shapes out of it and then put it back. And since it was just me that was using it, I mean, it's all still there. Okay. It's not changing anything.
That's funny. Oh, you had little mini Play-Doh.
Pretty much.
See, I've never heard of anybody doing that either. Here we are. How do you feel about baths? Taking a bath?
Oh, since I drive truck, I do a decent bit of my own aluminum polishing, and when you do that, it looks like you have blackface. It just gets everywhere. Because when you do like a proper metal polish, you have to sand it, and then you use there's different grits of rouge bars with different. Hardnesses of flap discs, and when you use those, it's always removing a thin chunk of aluminum, and it just turns everything you're wearing black, and you got to be careful not to get it in your lungs and stuff.
Right.
You can't just shower that stuff off. Really? I mean, I have soaked my arm in hot water, and then used the best soap I have, and it still struggles to pull it off sometimes. Really? And so when I deal with that stuff, I'll usually sit in the bath 30 minutes and then take a shower.
Really?
And I used to, I've also screwed my back up before, and sometimes sitting in the bathtub's kind of nice for that in the evening. Or when I was running sheep, that stuff gets all over your clothing and all that. And I was used to the smell, but to get yourself decently clean, it was nice to just sit in there for a little bit and then take your shower and deal with it. I can't stand washing my hair in a bathtub or that kind of thing, though. Yeah. That's a nightmare.
So the bath for those is like a pre-soak,
pretty much, yeah. That's pretty much what I use it for. Well, it just when you sit in the hot water, it helps loosen it all up. And the one thing that sucks about that stuff, it's also those rouge bars also act as kind of a sealant when you use them, and so it's hard to get off because of that. And it sucks because when it coats your face, you practically can't sweat.
Oh, yeah,
and that gets kind of miserable. But
is it I imagine it almost feels like if you're painted.
It's almost kind of like getting painted by rubber.
Yeah, because you can't sweat and it just kind of overheats and gets.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds awful.
Yeah, but the end product is nice for those of us that care what a truck looks like.
Yeah, that's true. That's a sacrifice.
Yep.
Do you have staying in the realm of a shower? Have you ever taken a dark shower? Shower in the dark.
I mean, when the power went out and I was in the middle of a shower, but I don't think so. Otherwise, I mean, the type of shampoo I use, I'm pretty much blind the whole time anyway, so it wouldn't matter.
Don't open your eyes.
Oh, I can't when I'm actually washing it because it burns. It's a bit of a special shampoo, and I use that Selsun Blue stuff. I've never really had an issue with dandruff or anything like that. Well, no, it might be a little bit because it was a dandruff shampoo, but I never really used it for that. it's about the only stuff I found that would actually clean my hair decently when it got greasy and everything.
Oh, yeah, because of all the work, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I've used some other stuff where I'd have to wash
Blue.
3-4 times at the same shower just to get clean hair, and that was...
Man.
This stuff actually does a decent job.
Selsun Blue.
Yeah, but it will burn your eyes.
Oh, really?
And so I have to shower and then wipe my face off before I open my eyes kind of a thing.
Really?
But
Wow.
I'm used to that at this point.
Dang, I'm going to have to... Selsun Blue.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah, because I know, like... Yeah, sometimes you get... It's a mess and say, I need something better than what Pantene's dealing with here.
Yeah, that stuff is stout.
It's filler. Like, all Pantene's just filler.
Yeah.
Okay, so no dark shower. It's relaxing. That's all I can say. Big fan. Have you ever eaten an orange in the shower as if it was an apple? So like you peel the orange and then you just kind of let the juice.
I think so. I don't know aside from like every so often when I need to snack, I'll eat like saltine crackers, and sometimes if I'm going to pre-soak in the bath or something like that, I'll take myself some little bag of saltine crackers and water or something, and I'll chew on that. And I've drank sodas in the shower and stuff before, and that's always really nice.
Big fan.
Yeah, that's the cold soda and a hot shower.
It's so good.
Yeah.
You're doing saltine crackers in the shower?
Not in the shower. That's just if I'm pre-soaking in the tub.
I was going to say that. Man, that's a soggy business. Like, those are not going to hold up well.
Yeah, no, they're not bad when you're just taking a bath,
that's
though.
Fair. That's fair. I was trying to imagine just saltines, just a big gloppy pile of saltines in the bottom of the shower. Luke, what is this?
That's a special type of waffle stomp right there.
Well, that brings me to my next question. Have you ever performed a waffle stomp? Now,
no.
I will confess to you, the most recent waffle stomp that I have performed was performed mere feet away from you. Right there. That was it. Titus was in here, and he was in the pooper, and I'm like, and Brendan's out here doing his thing, and I'm just like,
I know you can pop those drain covers off pretty easily, right, and save yourself a waffle stomp.
Yeah, but it was kind of like research. I regretted it. I was like, this was more than it needed to be. But
write it off on your taxes as research for your podcast.
Research. Yeah. No, I made sure everything was clean before I got out, but like it did happen. But so you've never
had to waffle stomp. Yeah. No. I usually just bail out and maybe grab another towel if I have to.
Yeah, just the yeah. So totally valid. Do you get back in? Like, are you like, I need to finish my shower now that I'm dirty again, or is it kind of?
Yeah, but you got to be kind of playing that game careful because that towel gets wet and then you can't dry it off. The nice thing is, between all the family, there's usually 2 or 3 dry towels that haven't been used hanging in there. So you got to back up if something happens, and you just have to put a new one there for them. But and that's been a lifesaver before.
Yeah. Do you get a new towel every like shower, or is it like close to?
Usually, because we throw them in with the jeans, and we wash a lot of jeans, and it works good to fill the washer at that point, so we're not just wasting. And we've got a big enough pile of towels. It's usually worth it to just do that.
Dude,
but
fresh towels are it though. Like it's good stuff. Fresh towels and fresh sheets.
Yeah, if I was living by myself, I might use a towel twice unless I was just really a mess when I got in.
Yeah.
But yeah, when we're
that's not that much.
No, it depends though, because like when I have a towel for when I go to like a pool or a hot tub or something like that, and I'll reuse that one several times before I worry about washing it. It just, like I say, we go through so many jeans in our house and everything. You might as well use it. You got to fill a washer somehow.
Yeah, I am like switch mine when Anna says, "Hey, it's time. Like you need to change it out. It's getting weird." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, I didn't even notice."
Well, the other issue is I don't have enough places to hang towels, even if I wanted to.
Yeah, that's tough.
At least I get the fresh towel though. That is truly nice, especially if you catch one in the dryer right as you're heading up.
Yes,
that is a great feeling.
It's still a little warm.
Uh-huh.
Yep, that's good stuff. The other maneuver that is there's 3 maneuvers when you got to poop in the shower. There is the stomp, And then there's what you do, which is, I think, the most logical thing, which is you stop and get out and do your thing. But the third maneuver is a catch and throw. Now, and the description of it is you poop into your hand, and then you try to toss it into the toilet. So would you do that?
No. That'd be one of those deals where you have to pray you had enough peanut butter in the last week.
Peanut butter.
Oh, you got to have something there.
We need something to really hold it together.
Oh, yeah, that'd be a mess. Can you imagine you get one of those real soft one that like falls apart when the toilet swirls and you tried to catch it?
But my
that's how the poop ends up on the walls in the truck stops.
That's it. That's my problem though. Is like mine's never solid. Like I Michael Wall. He's you need to go to the doctor. I'm like, Michael, I'm fine. The problem is coffee. Like I just drink too much of it, and
I get that.
It's liquefied. Yeah. So not a fan of the toss.
Just keep a bucket in there for the day. It's not solid.
So this is yes, comma. I think that there is a marketable product, TM, which is like the shower porta potty, and it's just it's just a disposable bucket that if you don't want to get out, you just sit down, do your business. The shower's still hitting you.
They actually make those for hunting.
It's
like a 5-gallon bucket. You could probably just put it in the shower because it's all plastic.
Perfect. But I think for me, it needs to be marketed specifically for the shower. Like,
well, so that way toilets usually are exactly opposite of the showers. Maybe we just make like a metal or a plastic slide that runs from the shower over there with a seat on it.
Just a poop slide.
Yeah, there you go.
And then let the shower water kind of run it down the gutter.
Yeah, maybe just spray a little Dawn in there so it's clean for the next time. You know?
Oh man, that is a image. Somebody just walks in and you've got this like contraption. What are you doing? It's like a marble racetrack. Gutter. Woof.
Yeah, you couldn't do that with kids. They'd be sitting there with their Hot Wheels trying to make them.
They'd be floating little ducks down the thing. Like kids are wild, dude. Kids' bath toys. They're so weird and they're so gross. Like, because eventually they just get like black inside, and it's what? Like, and they just spray their eye socket with it. It's fun, and I'm like, ugh.
Oh yeah, those
kids are made of like nuclear waste.
Oh,
and
I remember when I got my first floating Lego.
Floating Lego.
Yeah. So I did a lot of Lego City sets when I was a kid, and I've only got like one or two actually like complete sets. But one of them they had a couple different floating ones, but the one I got was they had a Coast Guard series. And they had this boat that was like this long with a solid hull. The people on there don't know what it is, but it was like a foot or a foot and a half long.
Yeah.
And then you just built everything on the hull on top of it. And so it was an actual like floating Lego boat.
That's awesome.
That thing was sweet. I got that when I was like 13. I probably played with it in the shower like twice, but...
Man, I wonder how many floating Lego sets they've made.
A lot.
Really?
I mean, I've seen quite a few of them.
Really?
I think there was even a company at one point that made like a full-on aircraft carrier that was like 3 feet long and could float.
Wow.
There's quite a few of them.
That's cool, because I know my son, like, he's got like a lot of Minecraft Legos, and there's some like water creatures in Minecraft, and he wanted them to float, and it wasn't happening.
Yeah.
Like,
well, they literally cast a solid hole, and then you build everything on top of it. Like it's got, in my case, the hole was empty, and there was a piece that snapped on the top of it. But a lot of times they'd put those, I don't know what you'd call them, the little points for the Legos to snap onto throughout the hole, and you'd build a structure out of it, kind of a thing on a lot of them. But yeah, this one just had a solid formed piece, the same length as the hole, that would snap on top, and you'd build everything on it.
That's cool.
Yeah,
you just kind of build Legos while you're taking a bath.
Yeah, and I've started getting back into Legos more just because now I got the adult money to spend on some of them. There's some wild Legos. They actually make like proper Lego guns that shoot a dart.
Really?
And stuff like that. And I found one that I'd love to have. It's a crane that's like 4.5 feet tall.
Whoa.
All Legos.
That's huge.
Yeah, it's massive. It was sweet.
Dang. Yeah, Lego, it's crazy what people do. I'm baffled. I'm not that creative. I'm like, give me a book that teaches me how to do this step by step. Wow, bathtub Legos. Have you ever had a snack on the toilet?
I don't think on the toilet I have. I mean, I've had a soda that I brought in with me. I was midway through finishing it, sort of thing. We're lucky where both our toilets are close enough to the counter. The one you can just reach around the wall and set something there.
One of those like spare toilets next to the...
It's kind of a weird bathroom design. They wanted the sink and the toilet to be slightly separated. I don't know if it was a couple's thing when they built the house or what, but there's just like one little wall that comes out even with the toilet. That the toilet paper's mounted there to your right, and the toilet faces the shower, and then the sink's just to the right on the back side of that wall. And then the other toilet, the downstairs bathroom, the shower, it's just a little stand-up shower only instead of a bathtub shower.
Yeah.
And it and the toilet are both on the same side, and then there's sinks over by the shower. It's kind of weird, but...
Yeah. That is interesting. That's... Yeah. Maybe they just, needed their privacy. Who knows?
Yeah.
So do you have a restaurant establishment that just fouls you up, does you dirtiest? Applebee's. No.
Applebee's isn't usually too bad.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I've had restaurants that I haven't been back to because like their food wasn't great and then they messed me up.
Ooh.
I'm kind of lucky to where most of the places I like to frequent, like the one market that was my favorite place to go to.
Yes.
Great food. Wouldn't really foul me up, but it was always predictable.
Yeah.
Like an hour and a half to 2 hours later, you'd have to go. There was no way around it.
It's the Shed Market?
Yeah, that place, delicious food, and it would always hit you just X amount of time after. And it was always a good poop, was never no runny.
It's consistent poop.
Yeah, never anything miserable, which was great. I mean, that's the last thing you want when you're in the middle of work.
Yeah.
Just that one that...
The surprise.
Oh, yeah, the one that hits and then it itches the rest of the day no matter what you do. That's a miserable way to end the day. It's a bad
existence.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, good. I mean, you figured out how to not eat things that destroy you, and that's good.
Oh, actually, I do know one. Denny's steak. I should
never
have ordered one there, but I was craving that steak on a Friday night. That was a bad idea.
That's why you're always like, we're not going to Denny's.
Oh, it's not the only reason. I just couldn't stand that steak. Like they've got that cookie batter shake, which is always I like that.
Yeah.
But man, that steak. It's Friday night. I want a steak. I don't want to go to Denny's because you get rubber on a platter. That one did mess me up a little bit. Or hash browns. For some reason, hash browns seem to.
Hash brown?
It's the weirdest thing ever.
The oil?
I don't know, because I eat French fries, tater tots, all that other stuff that's fried, and have no issue. But for whatever reasons, when I have hash browns with my breakfast, it makes a mess. I don't know why.
Hash browns.
It's the weirdest thing ever. I ate them forever, and I was always fine with it for a couple hours, and then all of a sudden when it hit, it was just terrible. And nothing solid ever. It was... Yeah, I quit eating them, but...
Nothing solid. You gotta get more peanut butter. No. Shoot. I'm gonna just start telling people, hey, you need to get some more peanut butter in your whole thing. Wow. Do you have any bathroom pet peeves? Like things that people do, it's just like, you gotta stop this.
I don't know. Have you ever dealt with those people that do like the scented candles in their bathroom?
Yeah.
That it kind of depends. Sometimes it's not so bad, but I've had one or two of those that was just...
It's too much.
Oh, yeah. Like overloads your nose. You're sitting in there holding it just... Man, that was not a fun type of bathroom stay.
We have one, but our bathroom's pretty big.
Yeah.
And it sits away from the toilet.
And it all depends on the odor. Like, what gets me is...
and you can't put, like, food-scented ones in the bathroom.
Yeah, well, there's those ones that... Or they have those blocks that they put in the heater thing that melt.
Yeah.
Those ones aren't too bad, but those are what really got me when I say scented candles. Because there was one place I dealt with, it was like 2.5 feet from the toilet in an outlet.
It's too much.
That is just way too much. I I don't know of any others. It's nice when people actually keep a plunger in the bathroom somewhere near. That drives me nuts when they have like a whole scene on the top of the back of the toilet, so if something happens, you can't stop the toilet, and there's no plunger nearby.
Yeah.
That's a scary. When you're at someone else's house, and you notice that. That's a scary place to go to the bathroom.
And it's troubling because plungers they're so cheap. Like they're $10 for an okay plunger,
and they're a lifesaver sometimes.
Yeah, it's just like have one.
We've got one at our house that has been reliable for probably going on like 25 years now, I would guess. It's one of the old wooden handled ones.
Oh, yeah.
That thing's nice because you can actually really get after it without the handle doing the whole bending like it's going to break like the plastic plungers do.
Yeah.
And it's still a rubber base instead of one of those plasticky bases.
Yeah.
So it works.
Even the plastic ones, they like crack weird. If they like, once you use them, if you don't like clean them and let them dry right, they crack. And it's just like, just get a real plunger. Yeah, and they got no pressure behind them when you're getting after it. And you have to do full plunges. That's one of the best things about the old rubber plungers. Yeah. You can just, like if you have a toilet that's about to come over the top, right? It's real full.
And you stick a plunger down there, it makes those big bubbles and it can become a mess real fast. Yeah. Those old rubber plungers, you can just ease the first stroke down and get like one bubble to come out, and then you just do these little bitty short strokes with it, and it doesn't make a mess, and it still has enough power to flush it. Yeah. And you can't do that with the plastic ones. I'd hate them.
Have you ever had to use the stick side of a plunger to bust something up?
No, I've never had one that bad.
Well, I've never, but I had to do it a couple times, like at camps or like as janitor and some kid. I mean, it's not usually a poop. It's usually the toilet paper. Oh, yeah. I mean, we're like making basketball sized clumps in there before we flush, and it's just like you got to just kind of bust it up, and it's the worst every time.
Well, I'm also kind of lucky because the one usually have outhouses at work, right? But I have had that a bathroom at work, but it was the old school toilet that has actually puts out some pressure, and if you have a wad down there, it'll bust it up before it goes down, kind of a thing. So you don't really have much of that issue, which is nice.
That's good. Yeah. Well, that is all the formal questions. Do you have anything that you want to leave folks with, bathroom wisdom, like sage advice for the bathroom space?
Ooh, I don't know. Maybe lay off the scented soaps. Yeah. Just give leave a good soap in there, liquid soap. It doesn't have to be one of those fancy foaming soaps. Yeah. That can be such a mess.
I'm guilty of the foaming soap, except
well, it's not bad soap. It's just it's so expensive, and it's not. You get sometimes you get that one scent that is just
it's too much.
Not what you wanted that night, you know.
Yeah. I have like this jank bottle of soap that somebody gave us. That's like there's no glycerin in it, or whatever they use as like a thickening. Yeah. And so it is just the most thin liquid soap, and you hit it and it's just everywhere. And I'm like, I hate this, but I'm too cheap to get rid of it. So chill out with the scented soaps. Yeah. I like it. And candles.
Yeah, no kidding. Some of those.
A little bit of stink in a bathroom sometimes is fine. Like
it's fine with your scented stuff. You just don't need to throw one that powerful, that close to it.
Yeah, to me it's almost like it's like the middle school kid who just their solution to all of life's problems is more Axe body spray. And it's like, listen, now you smell like bad teen and Axe.
That right there is where the scented soaps are nice because it covers up that body spray when they come back out. That's
it. But sometimes like these candles and like room sprays, like if somebody does a bad job and they're like, I gotta cover it. It's like sometimes just let the bad job sit, and it's
bathrooms with the window and the fan are the best.
Yes. Yep.
That's what you need.
Yeah. That's the only thing that I don't like about my bathroom at our new place and our old place. Our old place had the window and it was right behind the toilet, just boink, and it's perfect. And this one does nothing. It's got the vent, but it doesn't do much. Yeah. Well, cool. Well, if you don't have anything else, I'm gonna go ahead and close down the show. I always tell people this is the part where I feel like I'm the dog in the backyard pooping, and you kind of have to watch, but you don't really know, it's awkward. But I'll I'll close it down here. Thank you for being here and doing this. I'm pumped for it. And thank you all for listening. I'm not going to do all the social plugs because I hate that part. But if you want to email us privycast@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. I want to thank Kevin and Poddington for the use of their music. This has been another episode of Privy. Thanks so much for joining us. And now, as always, don't forget to flush. And this is the part that every single time when I do a Sunday, I'm going to take one of these. You don't need to do much, but I'm going to just push this back just a little bit. I'm going to go right around the corner, and I'm going to hit the urinal flush this week.